Children's education. Then. Now. It's Saturday, I'm Akorn, and today we're revisiting the past because clearly none of us learned the first time. Got a channel update later, but let's jump headfirst into today's show, starting with this week's pop quiz. In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, what model of Ferrari does Cameron's dad own? The one Ferris and his friends borrow for the day. If you think you know, drop it down in the comments, and then stay tuned because we have the answer later on in the show. Me walking with a cool stick I found in the ground. How it looked. How it felt. My mom making me apologize for telling the weird neighbor kid he would get superpowers if he licked the white dog turds. How many of you guys did stuff like this to the new kids? Better yet, how many of you guys got caught? Tom Cruise is transforming into Norm Macdonald before our very eyes. He really is starting to look like Norm. Cracker Barrel CEO. Garth from Wayne's World. Yeah, they look pretty close. Being an adult is terrible, but I thank God every day that I don't have to randomly run a mile at noon against my will and then go on about my day like we did in school. I remember that there was at least 1 year that I had gym like first thing in the morning. At first, I thought it would be a cool class to start the day. After a little while, though, not so much. Ready for the drive-in? Man, look at all that trunk space. Wish we had that in cars today. The day before opening morning. Opening morning. Yeah, that'd be about par for the course, but these days I have deer that walk all around my yard here, sometimes even during the middle of the day. Please take off your shoes. The kids lick the floors. Must be some of these Gen Z TikTok challenges. What's a cartoon from the past that kids today probably never heard of? The first one that come to my mind was Captain Caveman. Speaking of which, how many of you guys knew that Captain Caveman was actually Barney Rubble? If you grew up with this, your grilled cheese sandwiches always slapped. I still actually have one of these. I just need to get a new piece of stainless wire to replace it with because the old one broke on a really hard block of cheddar. Russell Crowe, taking the kids to see my old office. The internet is forever. Then where's my MySpace pics at? Starsky settles down. Still a nice car. I'm not saying I'm lazy, but if a crock pot recipe starts with brown or saute, we're done. Well, that's the entire point of a crock pot. You're supposed to put everything in it and walk away. If you have to do a bunch of prep work beforehand, kind of defeats the purpose. I'm this old. With great power comes huge electricity bills. Yep, that's for sure. 325 Dodge Chargers were used in the 6 years of production on the Dukes of Hazzard. That's just pretty sad when you think about it. You guys remember when we were kids and you go out to a pond or a lake and you try to find the perfect skipping rock just to see how far you could make it go? Well, look at the rock that this guy found and how far that it goes. Gotcha. How everyone over 40 looks when they read. So far, I've never needed bifocals, and I hope I never do. So how did you get into classical music? Me. That is true, actually. In 1997, the Brits let their government take away all their Now they get arrested for memes. Fact check true. I've had some of the news articles on Sunday show. If I call you sir or ma'am, it doesn't mean you're old. Where I come from, it's a sign of respect. Yeah, it certainly was. Something that today's generation greatly lacks. I remember playing Monopoly with old game pieces like this. Yeah, the original pieces that were made out of zinc and pewter. Probably plastic nowadays, if it's like most things. I'm old enough to remember when ice cream came in a box. Not only that, it was also a full half-gallon, too. Who misses Saturday mornings like this? I actually had that Garfield glass at some point in time. Was there anything better than going out to eat at Pizza Hut back in the day? I can hear and smell this picture. I'd say most of you know exactly what this is. And back when we were kids, for some reason, we all wanted one. We've all played Disc Drain Jenga, don't lie. Mine looks almost that bad right now. I guess Goose made it after all, guys. He just turned 63. You can only keep 3. Well, I'd say The Sandlot and Rocky, but third place would be kind of hard. I'd say it'd be a tie between Miracle and Rudy. What do you guys think? The problem is that younger me didn't account for the fact there'd be an older me. That is very true in many different ways. This is your brain. This is Tylenol. Any questions? Yeah, a lot of people don't realize it, but Tylenol and ibuprofen both actually are not good on your health, especially your kidneys and your liver. Which was your childhood Viewmaster? And can you recall any specific reels you had? The only ones that I really remember is the children's storybook ones. Apart from those, I can't say that I really remember any others. You might be Gen X if your grandma used to cut the mold off a block of cheese and said, "See, it's still good." Well, it is still good. I just did this a few weeks ago. Ain't a thing wrong with it.
When this guy rushed out of the house, most people didn't understand why he was in such a hurry. But it turned out he lived right next to a train track and was about to witness something truly special. As he and his friend waited anxiously, a train slowly emerged behind the bush, and it turned out to be Thomas the Tank Engine.
This is why everything hurts. Yeah, that could potentially be part of it. Scrambled eggs? I'll take 2. Deviled eggs? Give me 38. I don't know how people do it, but I've seen people eat a lot of deviled eggs before. I eat 2, maybe 3, and that's all I want. I'm not saying I'm definitely too old for you, but I do remember when call waiting was the hot new feature on wall-mounted corded house phones. Yes, we do. Things nobody said in the 70s. I'll start. I lost my phone. Well, with all these new electric car drivers, how about I put my car on autopilot? Going to bed in the 80s. No internet, no mobile phone. Yeah, just a clock and your radio. At what age do we start meeting up for bingo? 'Cause I'm ready! How many of you play bingo these days? I have to say, I actually do have a bingo game app on my phone. Jesse's Girl was released 45 years ago, so she's still watching him with those eyes. She's definitely wearing readers. I just know it. Today's pop quiz question was, In Ferris Bueller's Day Off, what model of Ferrari does Cameron's dad own? The one Ferris and his friends borrow for the day. The answer is a Ferrari 250 GT California Spider. A very nice car. I think I read somewhere that they actually built 3 replicas just for the movie. Speaking of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, here's a video I came across this week where they lay out why Ferris is stuck in a time loop just like in Groundhog's Day. And when you think about it, it actually makes a lot of sense. Take a listen.
The theory is that this legendary day off isn't his first, and that it's actually one of hundreds, maybe even thousands of the exact same day over and over again, and Ferris has been perfecting it all this time. We're just in the middle of this. Think about it. Every move is calculated. He builds Rube Goldberg machines that just fool his parents. He hacks the school system, outsmarts a high-end maitre d', and keeps dodging Rooney like a chess master. The guy even catches a foul ball at Wrigley Field sitting in the perfect seat and lands a performance on a parade float. This isn't luck. This is mastery, trial and error, years of practice, which, by the way, is exactly what he says when his parents ask how he got so perfect. Years of practice. And remember when he breaks the fourth wall and says, this is the part where Cameron goes berserk? He doesn't sound like he's guessing. Sounds like he knows and he's remembering like he's seen it before. And remember, Sloan even says, you knew what you were doing when you woke up this morning. He sure did. He's been running this morning over and over and over. His obsession with Sloan starts to make more sense. The secretary says they're newly dating, but Ferris talks like they've been together for years. Maybe to him, they have been. He's not fearless because he's cool. He's fearless because failure doesn't matter. If it all falls apart, no problem. The day just resets.
Whoever knew that Tootsie Rolls were supposed to be the life of the party? They were pretty good, though. It's actually been a long time since I've had any. Make a band edible. We'll start. Fleetwood mac and cheese. I'm going to go with Hall & Oates. The most archaic thing about the 80s was that if you saw an actor in a movie and couldn't remember where you knew them from, you just had to ask other people during the movie where you remembered them from. Yeah, it was a lot different before Google came around, that's for sure. I don't want to shame, but I think this publicity still of Spielberg and E.T. is about 80% more sexy than it really needs to be. You have to admit, that is kind of a weird pose. As if we hadn't had enough to deal with in 2025, these are back. I believe I actually saw some of these in Walmart just a couple months ago. Wanna feel old? Pat Morita was only 52 years old when he played Mr. Miyagi. Well, she's got her dog and her slingshot, so I guess she's about ready. Although, I don't really know how much that dog's gonna help her. Could definitely be an ankle biter, though. Here is an awesome idea, guys, of how to repurpose the old candy dispensers. You could make a lot of money this way, especially if you were anywhere near any kind of a mechanic shop. You're a kid and in your dad's car. What is he about to make you listen to? Actually, my dad hardly ever listened to the radio when he was driving. But if he did listen to any music back then, it would have been some of the older gospel songs. The strainer every family owned back in the day. There was 2 or 3 different ones. I don't know if we had this one, but I do remember one of the other ones. How generations responded to being offended. Boomers, you're rude. Millennials, you're mean. Gen X, your mom. Congratulations! You've scrolled so far, you're now back on MySpace. I actually did have a MySpace account at one point. I kept hearing about it for the longest time, so there was one day that I went over there just to see what it was about. And I'll end today's show with this. Sometimes I'd trade everything today just to relive one more ordinary moment with the people who made it special. I'd say for most of us, we're lucky if we even get a few of those type moments. If you made it this far in the video, then please hit that like and subscribe, and share the video with your family and friends, as it would really help to support the channel. At the beginning of today's show, I said I had a short channel announcement. As you all have noticed the last couple of weeks, the Gen X series has been dropping on Saturday. The first time it happened, it was an accident. However, there was a bump in the views, so the next week I did it intentionally, and the views went up some more. So for the present time, the Gen X series will be dropping on Saturday at 12:55 Central Time, which is 1:55 Eastern Time, and the Idiocracy series on Sunday will be dropping at 11:55 Central Time, 12:55 Eastern Time. The channel has had some rough months this summer, and I'm having to make any changes that I can find in order to try to get the algorithm to pick the videos back up and push them out again. With that said, you may see additional changes in the weeks ahead, not only on days or times when the videos are dropping, but you could still see more changes in the titles, thumbnails, and other things, some of which I've already been making some changes to. The biggest thing is, I'm trying to keep this series alive, so if you like this kind of content, please share the videos. I'd like to give a special thanks to all of my channel members, super thanks, buy me a coffee, all of you ordering merch, and all of my subscribers and viewers for your support, because this show is only made possible by viewers like you. If you'd like to become a channel member, click on the join button down below the video for details. With that said, I thank you all for watching. You guys take care and stay safe this weekend. This is Akorn, over and out.
You ever had that bad day at work where it's like, man, all it takes is one little thing and it just really piss you off? You're like, man, I'm about to, damn. Yeah. I'm ready to go home. You know what? I'm finna quit this job. I've been getting ready to quit anyway. You know what? Yeah, this is my last day. I'm finna retire.